Good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Once more, nice to meet all of you. I would request you to unmute your video so that we can have a look. In the beginning, you can, of course, mute your audio. Video can be unmuted for a second so that we can all meet on the screen. And I am sure all of you have really enjoyed the last 2 days session. And I am very sure that this third and the final day of the MDP will be much refreshing, much resourceful, as Mr. Segal tried to address the critical issues, how to gear up the business in the new scenario. And as usual, you can also send your queries in the chat box so that at the end of the meeting, we can take it up. Over to Segal, sir.
Right. So I just request everyone to mute themselves now so that, we don't get distracted. Thank you. So why this product or service? You will have so many choices, but you remember at the end of the day, only 8 hours, 10 hours. If you work hard, then 16 hours. But as I said, that the concept is to create yourself into the happy entrepreneur mode, which I call as a happypreneur. And we want to have a balanced life going forward. I told you mental health issues are going to be very big. So we have to learn to work as team. We have to learn to work as, with a lot of similar-minded people. We don't mind sharing the benefits because that reduces stress. That's been one of my experience in most of the businesses I have. There are different partners. So we share the stress. So why this product or service? Why this consumer and market? Why this technology? Again, there is a new concept of precision marketing where for each product, we try to understand what is the profile of our consumer. Everyone is not our consumer. We need to understand the consumer profile very precisely and then precise targeting. So that is the new concept, and going forward, it's going to become very, very relevant. So understanding the who part of your consumer is also very important. But why that consumer? So that means you're going to look at the background, the purchasing power. He should be able to spend money on your product or service. And then why this machinery? Again, looking at the technology, etc. We are looking at adding the product life cycle to, our products. So, and why these employees and suppliers? You remember that I talked about the knowledge areas and the attitudes, the skills and the habits, and I'm going to talk more about that today. So you need to, whatever business, whether it is the kind of business where we discuss like appeal sciences, it will require a completely different set of people. And we need to understand what kind of these people we need to employ and vis-a-vis fashion. So understanding the kind of people that we need to have in our organization will decide the success of the organization. Remember, we discussed that manpower is the most critical resource. And then how this manpower is directed to spend the time is important. And then, of course, the next question we said was what is the potential? So that means we need to have a vision that to what extent we can scale up this business, right? Then what is the business model? Okay, now I was just between yesterday and today, we discussed that fresh farm food to, let's say, consumer cooked food in your home, which is cooked at the farm. So, you harvest and within the first 8 hours, the vegetables are cooked, Indian style, brought to your table within the next 24 hours, delivered to your table. So you have the experience of actually sitting in the farm and having that food. Can we create that consumer experience, right? And if this is the business model, then what are the critical activities in this model? That means what time you will be harvesting, by what time the vegetables have to be there in the kitchen at the site, and then what are the ingredients that you are going to use in terms of spices, etc. And if you have to, let's say your food cooked and packed is ready by 5 o'clock in the evening, do you need refrigeration? What time it has to get into the refrigeration warehouses? By what kind of mode of transport it will be delivered to the nearest cities? So there are critical activities in every business that make or break that business. If you are delivering food to, let's say, lunchtime to the corporate employees, the way in yesterday's case study, we saw Sweet Green had that business model. Then if 1 to 2 is the lunch hour, it is a very critical activity that your deliveries are there to every consumer by 12:45 p.m. Now this becomes a very critical activity. How you are going to control it on all the days that you are going to give service to the customer? So having answers to that and controlling this activity. Then what supply chain? What are the deadlines for your different targets that you want to? Let's say you decide that I want to get into, let's say, all the cities in Maharashtra first. Then I want to go down south. So what are those deadlines in terms of your business growth? Because now we are all talking about valuations. We are talking about the turnovers that you are capturing. We are talking about how fast we are going to capture the growth. Those have become like never before important variables, and we need to have therefore very clear cut plan of growth, and then obviously ensure that we have the right kind of manpower to fuel that growth, right? Then what are the strategies for survival in case some disruption happens? Competition is going to come in. So what are going to be our strategies? We have to do some advanced thinking, right? And what are the strategies for growth? What are the strategies for scale up? One of the things I was thinking, should we make farmers also as our partners? Because these farmers today, there are some startups like Ninja Cart in India. They are delivering fresh vegetables and fruits from farm directly to the retail points. It's already there, and that's also one of the examples of the Indian startups that I have. But here we are going up the value chain. So can we share some of the profits of this value chain with the farmers? Like we said, that in the future, what kind of entrepreneur is going to succeed? An entrepreneur which is going to take care of the people around him, the other species, and the environment. And can we create a business model where farmers themselves, and then over a period of time, we start working on improving the quality of the farm produce, bringing in the best technologies from Israel, so we are trying to think of improving the lives of our stakeholders, in this case, farmers. So very important, right? Answer to who are my stakeholders, who's my consumer, who are my critical channel partners, who are my critical partners and employees. Now, there is a difference between who the partner is and who the employee is. A lot of startups that I am attached to today, they get confused, and some of the people who should have been employees end up becoming the partners, and then later on these teams fall apart, because then you decide, hey, this is a skill I could have easily hired. What are the partners, let's say, deserving virtues, must have virtues in a partner? And if they are not there, then he can be an employee. So we will learn about that. For partners, there's the next slide. So let's wait for that. As to who will be your partner, which are the partnerships that work, and which are the ingredients a partnership must have, otherwise it's going to fall apart. I have created some concepts on that. And that slide is separate. It's going to be coming soon. How will I manufacture, distribute, create a competitive edge? Creating a USP in the business is very important. I always say Earth rotates on just one single axis. Every business needs to find out that one USP, just one, not two, not three. If you have one very strong USP, you can scale up your business. Now you see in the last so many years, like we said yesterday, all the technology companies, software people getting into all kind of businesses. They have no idea of those businesses. In fact, there are businesses which have been started by generation, they're generation old businesses. But these technology people, the software guys, they have disrupted them, right? One single USP they had, that is technology. And technology is changing the way products are getting delivered. And the way products are getting delivered is giving rise to e-commerce. And e-commerce has hugely disrupted and is disrupting and is going to disrupt in future all the businesses which are being owned by maybe 3-4 generations. And they are in for a huge disruption, right? So we need to look at that one single USP, one single strength in the business that we can create. And then if we can scale up at the global level. And of course, the next is when do I launch the product or service, right? I think iPhone 10 was launched too soon. iPhone 4 was launched too soon. I have a separate movie I have created on Apple's failures. A big, successful global company, one of the top, let's say, 6 companies in the world, also has had failures. What does it mean? That failures are just a part of success. It is a stepping stone to success. So we should also be prepared for failures. And how to deal with failures is again another entrepreneurial trait which is going to become very important going forward. It is more important to learn how to dare to fail and how to deal with failures in the next 10 years than it has ever been in the past. So in terms of character of the entrepreneur, I said that character is important. I said robust character, robust mental character, robust physical character, both are very, very important. So when do I invest in R&D, right? When do I go for public offering? I have always seen most of the Indian startups when they start, and the exits have been traditionally very early, as against the startups in the West. They talk about $1 billion, etc. Yahan pe 600, 800 million maximum, and people think that they are done and they exit. Traditionally, recently, that has been the case, barring a few startups, right? So when we go for public offering is also very, very important. Now, where do I find talent? Again, people focus. People are going to build your businesses. So where do we find them? Raw material, where do we find? Where do we find capital? Where do we find machinery? Where do I sell? Where do I go to raise my capital? Where do I go to source technology and machinery? All these were related questions. So these we did discuss in the past, but these are some of the details, the micro details, and they are not comprehensive. In every situation, if you are able to answer to these 6 questions, and accurately, you will be always be in the control of your business and grow it. Now, some skills as an entrepreneur, and very important going forward. Recently, I was just before this webinar, I was part of another webinar, and it was for the startups. And one of the queries, one of the questions that came from the moderator was that which are the most important skills that the entrepreneur must have. So we're just going to go through. I think it's very, very important. If you've heard of this great person called Zig Ziglar, he said, motivation doesn't last and bathing doesn't last either. So motivation is pretty much like bathing. So, every day you start your day, how you start your day is extremely important, and it has to be with a positive. How you start and how you end your day. Those first 10 minutes and those last 10 minutes before you go to sleep are the most important times in an entrepreneur's life. And those morning hours are to basically, I think people find their own ways. Some people go to meditation, some people do yoga, some people, read something, but not newspapers, because newspapers are only selling negative news. Only anything that charges you, anything which is inspirational. Because before sleeping, when you read something which is igniting something very positive, again, something, affirmations, people believe in affirmations, your conscious mind has to be programmed, because mind is pretty much like the hard disk of a computer. If you don't install the right softwares, then it's not powerful. And then mind controls our body. The thoughts that come in the mind, they are very important. So, most of the human beings on this earth, they are all, God has given 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 nose, everyone. But this 1.5 inch is different. And this 1.5 inch, how we program differently, that is what you have to find out. So I say the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes before you sleep, they are so important, because every entrepreneur is a leader. And as a leader, or the most important job you have to do is to ignite other people. You have to, motivate other people. Now, if you yourself are not motivated, if you yourself are not ignited, there's no way you can ignite other people. So this is one of the most important, qualities of an entrepreneur, and this can be learned, this can be improved upon, and this is something that you'll have to do on a daily basis, right? And this also gives you excellent resilience, right? Your mental health, because you will have to take rejections left, right, and center. And that is going to be very difficult, right? Taking rejections, how to deal with rejections. And therefore, your mental resilience, how to build, is important. And finding your own ways, keeping yourself motivated, read good books, keep yourself in good company of people, positive people, and there's a lot of positive video content. All that you need to do to program your mind on a continuous basis. And very important is your family support. You know, everyone, and those of you who are married, or you have girlfriends, or you have boyfriends, it's very important that your partner knows what you have committed yourself, and you get all the support. Your family is also giving that invisible support for your plans and for your dreams. They are also partner in your dreams. The other one is, idea doesn't make you rich, your ability to sell does. As an entrepreneur, you have to learn the art of selling, and this art is learnable. You have to sell. You have to sell the idea, you have to sell the product, you have to learn how to sell. And selling process is very, very simple. There are just 3 stages. First is prospecting. You should have the ability to go talk to anyone. A lot of us, we hesitate when we're talking to a stranger. Now, this is something that I say, coming out of your shell. Come out of your shell, go talk to stranger, say hello, establish the eye contact, smile, and have guts to talk and make that conversation to a stranger, right? And I'll tell you, smile connects people, and learn that art, and try to start talking to the stranger, because in prospecting, it is very important. And never be disheartened if somebody says, no, I don't want to talk to you, or somebody is rude. Don't take it to your heart. So rejections are going to happen. No means next one in selling, and all entrepreneurs have to be the best salespeople. And I have created a separate slide just to show you how people who sold the idea made more money than the people who started the business with the idea. Separate slide comes. So it is more important to sell. Otherwise, ideapreneurs, they don't make so much money. It's the people who sell the idea, they make the money. So learn and master this art of selling, right? Building relationships is another art, and this is my special message to today's generation. You know, these Facebook friends and all of that, actually these are e-relationships, but forget these COVID times, but every relationship requires investment of time, and you need to do that. Because, you know, if somebody took my home away, I can build another home. Somebody took my car away, I can build another car. But if I have given my time to somebody, that's gone. Think about it. When you give your time in a relationship, that is when your relationships become rich. And when you are in business, and my colleagues are here, they know how much we party with our customers, how much we make them, you know, enjoy India, and how much they make us enjoy their countries whenever we are traveling, right? And that is the time that really is well invested, which really builds those relationships. And these relationships, I said what? People do businesses, not product. Remember that. That is the mantra. It's the people who do business. So focus on people. Remember the birthdays. Remember that person, what he likes. Remember what his wife likes, or his girlfriend likes, or his her boyfriend likes. You know. So go beyond that person. Go to the family, and then build your relationships with the end consumer. Very, very relevant for B2B businesses, right? And so build your personality traits required for succeeding. Now, what are they here? Here I'm talking again for about character and values. This I have said earlier too. Your values, when you are doing global business across cultures, your values attract people. Your values create that emotional connect that help you succeed. To practice very high set of values, no lying, no cheating. This has to be part of your personality. And then knowledge, skills, habits, etc. They are all part of which we are discussing anyway right now. Can we mute? Somebody's unmuted. And then most important is that whatever is the, you know, the knowledge, attitude, skills and habits that you talked about, just not you, your entire team has to acquire it. That's where the success starts coming in a very, very accelerated way. Creativity, again, creativity, how we can do more with less. You know, all the startups, we call it as a bootstrapping mode. You know, people like to hire too many people suddenly without even the proof of concept. Sales haven't taken place and there is a huge team already hired. Now, you need to therefore learn the art of how to be creative and how to do more with less. So, and right through your business, you have to retain this startup mindset, right? That of bootstrapping. Master the art of creative thinking. You know, there are so many out of box ideas, and that skill you will be able to develop meditation, I tell you, helps big time in getting some of those great ideas, those eureka moments, it's excellent. If you have tried it, I'm sure most of you have, because of late I see there are a lot of people who are getting into yoga, etc. So meditation really helps you both in getting ideas about how you can innovate, how you can solve a problem, how you can disrupt. Okay. Now, we are going to be learning about both innovation and disruption, how to innovate as well as how to disrupt. Now, remember, in the last slide, we talked about idea or ability to sell. Now, here are the examples from your favorite, these are the case studies. People who can sell more, people who can sell make more than people who create the idea. Now, these are actual facts. Huh? Facebook. Do you remember who created it? Heard of Winklevoss brothers? They were twins actually. The idea was theirs. And their net worth today is $65 million. And Mark Zuckerberg, he thought when he was talked about the idea, he thought it was $1 million idea. Till Sean Parker heard the idea, he said, and he told Mark, it's $1 billion idea. Why? Sean Parker was the actual first salesman. He was the person who sold this idea. And later on, Mark himself became the good salesman. And of course, he scaled up and created Facebook. And today, Sean Parker's net worth is $2.6 billion. And Mark is at $87 billion. But whose idea was it? Winklevoss twins. $65 million, and got arrested at that. Apple. Do you know whose idea it was to come up with this?
Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak.
Yes, Steve Wozniak. He was into coding, and that was him with the idea. Net worth today, $100 million versus Steve Jobs, who was an excellent salesperson. And I mean, some of his shows, if you see, where he's been launching products and the products have failed. I have separate movie. If we have time, I'll go through it. Net worth, $10.2 billion. McDonald's, food. Who was the original? Of course, McDonald brothers, right? $1.8 million they sold to a person called Ray Kroc. Who was Ray Kroc? Actually, he was into the sales of machines. The first order that came from McDonald brothers, can you please mute yourself? The first order that came from McDonald brothers was for 8 juicers. And Ray Kroc had never sold more than 2 juicers. So he said, hey, let me go see which company is this. Ordering 8 juicers. So he went there, he saw their business model, and he was so impressed. And he said, man, this is a great idea. As luck would have it, these people, McDonald brothers, could not manage that business, and it was in trouble. And then Ray Kroc went there and he bought over that business. And then, of course, I don't know how many thousand McDonald chains, etc. But the fact is that even Ray Kroc is not alive today. But $500 million worth, all of that money he donated actually, and that's again an example of salesperson making more than the person who had the idea. Tesla. I don't think anyone can guess whose idea it was first. If someone can, maybe great. But I hope you are not Googling right now. Martin Eberhard. Heard of him? No. I had not heard of him. $500 million. Elon Musk, $38.8 billion. Okay. Person who had the idea and person who sold the idea. So selling is a very, very, very important skill, right? And this is learned. You can learn it. I think in my own organization, my all next generation people, they would themselves say that how quickly they learned it. And first, they thought they would never be able to learn it, but most of them are now excellent sellers. Now, other abilities are ability to scan business environment, that we did over the last 2 days, right? Identifying hidden opportunities is an art.
So can you please give me the last slide back again, just for a second? Yes. Okay, I'm good, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So ability to scan business environment. Now, we have taken the scan of the, say, last 2 decades, and we saw which are the businesses which have come, and you are very much aware of those businesses. They are around us, right? What kind of pestle disruptions they have taken advantage of. Now, going forward, also we have done some scan yesterday. They are also creating businesses, right? One of the examples that I took right in the beginning of today's session was that, if we are to get into this food business and fresh on the lines of sweet green, of course, the salads are not going to sell here. Like yesterday, we were talking to one of the participants. We'll have to Indianize that model, right? So we can Indianize it in a number of ways. We have different segments. There is a, let's say, salad segment here also. So we can cater to that. But there is other segments also in India. So we can do that. But again, we know that big cities have a huge population of working couples, and they would be requiring these foods because there is a ready market out there. If we are able to give that consumer experience, right? So going forward, this pestle analysis, what all businesses it is creating, we have to have the ability to scan. Visualizing and understanding global pestle environment. Now, can we make this business global? What we are talking about, food direct from farm to the kitchen, farm to dining table of the consumer. It can be. Okay. So sweet greens today are in number of countries. This business will have to be, again, localized. The way you do it in India, that's not the way you can do it in Europe. That's not the way you can do it in other countries. But again, which are the countries you can focus? Asia, where we thought the market is Asia and Africa, right? So, but Africa, the purchasing power is in there. So other countries in Africa. So your ability to scan the pestle environment will help you design your businesses. Develop an ability to disrupt. Now, this is a separate slide which is coming in details. What is the process of disruption? Again, if you've seen, I have taken a lot of disruptive businesses examples, but some of the common ingredients I have listed in the next slide, which I think all of those businesses had. Again, this is my own created slide. If you think that I missed out on something, we will discuss that during our interaction, and maybe I can improve upon that slide. But there are 5 or 6 ingredients that I have listed for you to develop the disruptive thinking and develop a disruptive process in your businesses. So one of the things is challenge. You have to challenge the status quo, change, integrate convenience and technology. So that means you are integrating technology in a way that it's creating convenience for the consumer who's going to be exchanging money for your services. Think win-win. That means all the stakeholders involved. If you saw yesterday's Michuan Dianping's, where they are giving employment to so many food delivery people, and how their safety, also they have created, an app which is GPS based, and which is, the guy is driving. You saw, if you remember that clip, there was this lady with a child crossing the road, and the GPS tells the guy to brake and stop because something was coming in the way. So how they have created win-win, even for safety, not just financial, even for safety, delivering the intangible, that we love you, we care for you. So here is the app which is also taking care of your safety. Obviously, one of the things that movie didn't talk about was also, no, it did talk about the calculation of the most efficient routes to the destination, right? Now, think win-win, plan and scale up with perfection. Now, that's where the biggest challenge is when you are adapting technology, that all these apps, they have to also deliver whatever they are meant to do with perfection. So all the initial bugs, etc., they should be taken care of, so that it doesn't become a failure. So frugal innovation. Now again, a separate slide coming up on innovation, the mindset of an innovator. I've been telling you to just, all those examples, case studies we did. What were those ingredients that an innovation must have for it to succeed globally, for it to get commercially exploited? So there is a separate slide coming up. In fact, I have had a very, very good opportunity to meet my mentor in that area also is Dr. Ram Mashilkar. And he has written this beautiful book, which is a must read for most entrepreneurs. That is From Leapfrogging to Pole Vaulting, an innovator's mindset. And in that, he has discussed what are those ingredients of innovation. And I've had the great opportunity of discussing this personally with him, and I have adapted that model for that, and I'm going to be showing you some separate slides on that. And you will find that all the case studies of those successes that we discussed, and some more, which if we have time today, we will discuss, which are the Indian case studies, they have all those ingredients, right? It's coming. And the acronym is assured. A stands for something, S stands for something, URED. So it's coming. I'll just leave you with that thought. You can start thinking, what does this acronym mean? But it's a fantastic model. We'll talk more about it. Now, as an entrepreneur, you have to develop an attitude of others first. Whatever we are planning, it all starts with employees. Is it going to improve their lives? Is it going to improve the lives of your suppliers? Is it going to improve the lives of your consumer? Is it going to improve the lives of your financial stakeholders? Is it going to improve this planet as a whole? Other species also. Hope we are not harming them. Hope we are not throwing pollution out into the environment. If we do that, your success is assured. So entrepreneurs are angels. I firmly believe that. If we have to make money, it has to come from the divine. And we have to ensure, and I told you that book, and I think I've given the details to Doris of this, which I talked about. It's called Spiritual Economics. Okay. Beautiful book, read it. Going forward, it says those economic laws, the spiritual economic laws, are going to be in action, and you will see it. Why? Because man has done so much harm to the environment that going forward, we need to think differently. We need to reboot ourselves and think differently. So that is about attitude of others first. So entrepreneurs are angels. They are here to create a better world for others, right? And their world is a byproduct and a mirror reflection of what they created for others. This is a big shift, and let's adopt that as a principle and create new businesses. Now, here is the disruptor template. I said the first process, carefully analyze the current state, study the consumer needs. We start with the consumer, right? How the current offering is meeting those needs. Study the competition and then identify the gaps and opportunities to improve the customer gratification. And because technology is a disruptor, you see everyone is adapting technology, whether it is machine learning, artificial intelligence, or Internet of Things, or whatever, right? They are nanotechnology. If you look at medical, the future of medical technology is going to be completely different. I have a lot of movies prepared on that. We may not have a lot of time for that, but how nanotechnology and how biotechnology is going to be changing our world. Getting these flowers which change color during the day. In the morning, they are blue. By 12, they turn green. By afternoon, they are red. And natural colors. It is happening with now bioengineering, right? So there are new technologies coming in the biotechnology. Biotechnology meaning bioengineering, you'll be able to even have designer babies. Now, as I said, you remember that legal environment has to also evolve. To what extent the legal environment is going to, because there are some ethical issues coming in, right? But we are in the medicine, if you see, there are biosimilars, the new medicines which are right now, like if anybody is suffering from cancer, there are these chemotherapy, etc., which kill the good cells also. Technologies are already coming, and they have been already they've been proven to be successful, that you can have a targeted attack on the cancer cells only. Okay, it's happening. Micro nano robots which you can swallow, they will go inside your stomach, they will do all that needs to be done in terms of microsurgery. It'll pass out of your stools. These technologies have already come. Now, impact of all these technologies, of course, is going to be prolonging the lives, but these are going to be disrupting, a lot of the current, practices that are there in medical. I'm just giving you an example of medical, but why? Because medical, we've not talked about. Other areas we've already talked about and seen that this process in action, which is, carefully analyzing the current state and then seeing what consumer is getting, and then somebody coming and giving a better consumer gratification, right? So second is challenge the status quo, use and integrate technology, use creativity to generate USP. USP generation is very, very important, and USP has to be very powerful, so that, anyone who's going to disrupt your disruption, it takes maybe 2 years, 3 years, not as easy as, just, okay, duplication. You just doesn't replicate yourself. So your USP has to be powerful, right? Then the third is integrate convenience with competitive pricing. Ensure that you have built in higher levels of convenience, trust and reliability in your value proposition with better pricing by leveraging on technology, and then dare to change and compete. So it is no more about customer satisfaction, right? It is about spoiling the customer. Innovate in areas of customer engagement and service. We saw that in that Stitch Fix example, how the engagement, use of artificial intelligence and serving the customer needs is really taking that company from one level to the next level. And again, start this process only if you have strong conviction, because every entrepreneur, one of the qualities that you need is perseverance, right? You'll have to keep trying. I say, learn from nature. In yesterday's presentation on appeal sciences. If you heard that lady talk about, it said we learn from nature. We have taken inspiration from nature. Entrepreneurs also take inspiration from nature. Why? Look at an ant. Look at the team building skills of an ant. Look at how together they can really move huge loads, right? Look at a spider. Look at water. A water with a consistent impact, it can cave, it can create craters in even rocks. But what is needed is consistency, right? So if we develop this art as an entrepreneur of getting inspired and inspiration from nature, we will know that there are certain qualities. A water will be so flexible that it can take shape of any container. Entrepreneurs have to be like that. Put them in any circumstances, they are very comfortable, right? So you take inspirations from all these, and then you have to be like a rubber ball. You know, the harder you are hit, the higher you go. So keep these kind of, you know, these are three of my personal inspiration giving. Let's say one is a non-living thing, a rubber ball. Other two are living things, ants and spider, and third is water, right? These four I have kept, and I always keep thinking about them, right? It keeps me motivated at times when the times, not all the times are going to be easy. You're going through toughest times. You need resilience in those times. You need, some days you get up and you don't even feel like motivating yourself. We are all human beings. We are not super people, right? Those Supermen and all, they only exist in Hollywood movies. So there are phases when you will be going through some very tough phases of life. But at those times, you need this, you know, conviction about your idea. You need perseverance that, yes, you know, I have to not, you know, break down and have to go on. And these are some of the, therefore, traits that we need. Now I'm coming to my favorite slide, which is about leapfrogging to pole vaulting. And the credit of this learning is to Dr. Mashilkar. And I've looked at a lot of case studies, and I'm building a lot of case studies, and I'll do share these case studies with him also, and take his approval, and we then have discussions. And transformational innovation, you know, innovations that evolve a business, and then innovations that transform a business. Now, these are the characteristics and ingredients that we are going to be talking about for commercial success of these innovations. And guess what? He writes, this is his term. Failure is assured if the assured test fails in an innovation. Now, what is the assured test? Let's learn. A is for affordable. Can you give me an idea, an example of an affordable innovation? Very, not recent. I mean, these are age-old ideas. Very old idea. An innovation which is an affordable, which has gone on to, you know, capture masses. Even you consume that product. Anyone?
Is Google Maps?
Google Maps, yeah, that is almost free now. Yeah, Abhishek, but that's a good example. But you know, Parle-G, whole of India consumes. You've seen the success of that product. It's available in pack of 2, pack of 4, big packs, lot of packs together, and a very old innovation, right? Biscuits have always been in India. In fact, biscuit is not an Indian concept, but here was an Indian company that disrupted that industry long ago. When cookies and all that, you know, all the British, all these concepts were there, you know. So Another, scalable. The idea, the innovation has to be scalable. I was talking to this doctorate from IIT Chennai, and he said one of the problems that we have is that all these doctoral people, they come up with these innovative ideas and they think that, oh, on the fifth day they are going to be a billionaire, but they completely lose track of the scalability of the innovation itself, right? So when you are working with these technical people, remember one thing, you will need to have another perspective, because they get so involved with the idea that they end up producing that movie. You remember Ram Gopal Verma Ki Aag is my favorite example. A movie which he created, and he was sitting in the audience, but he was very passionate about that product, right? So these, you have to be very careful that the innovation that is brought to you is scalable. So economies of scale are needed. Demand must be met on time. Hence, the scalability is important. And that is the second S. The third S is, of course, you can guess it, sustainability. Product life cycle cannot be a short product life cycle, right? That of a pager. Product life cycle is very important. Sometimes, again, if you look at companies like Nokia and BlackBerry, right? People behind them, BlackBerry particularly thought, hey, I know. And then they thought that, people only want the touch screen experience. You remember the BlackBerry that came up with touch screen? I think that was their last model. They did not get what was happening in the market, right? How the other innovations that were coming were bringing in some of the other aspects of the assured metrics, which we will come to. Universal, right? The product has to be so easy to use and maintenance free, making your customer independent of you. If the product itself is going to create headache after some time, and then he has to put in a lot of effort and money to maintain a lot of products out there, particularly in the cars space. Some of the cars, Mercedes, when it launched in India, it was a big failure. One of the things they did was they came up with outdated models that were extinct in the other developed countries. They brought in here. Least did they realize that people who can buy a Mercedes here are also exposed to that part of the world where they are used to, and they know that which are the latest models there. And Mercedes had to immediately change their strategy in India. So, today also there are so many products out there. I am told that BMW, Audi, in some of the cities, they are not able to give that service. And even Mercedes becomes very expensive in terms of, after third, fourth year, the maintenance is so you have to wait for like 4 or 5 days to get your appointment. So these are some of the things that these big brands also will have to address in India if they have to bring in scalability. Rapid. Now we are in a fast moving world, right? So the business environment is changing very fast. Our innovations must reach the customer quickly and swiftly. So you have to move fast. If you don't, someone else will. You'll be trampled upon. Excellence. So this is the sixth ingredient of a successful innovation that will be a commercial success. That the solution provided by the product or service must by far be the best available at any time. And continuous improvement to maintain that space year after year is needed. And of course, in sustainability part, the environment has also come in. You are not going to be sustainable if you are not going to include environment in your scheme of things. And the last is distinctive. Disruptive innovations enable pole vaulting from just leapfrogging, right? it has to be distinctive. There has to be that element of being special. And if you have that, you will always come up with an innovation which will build a sustainable business globally. Now I'm going to force you to think about all the case studies that we have done so far. Right? And think about those success stories in the past or failures in the past where one of this was missing. Remember Sony Walkman?
Yes.
Distinctive. When it was no more distinctive,
Went off.
went off. Right? iPhone 10, excellence, not there. Right? Now think about all the examples that we have taken, right? Whether it was that first stitch or sweet greens, or we are talking about Paytm, or we talk about Ola Electric in India, right? So you will see that these 7 aspects are there. Any company that has gone on to build big businesses, these 7 forces are always in play and in control of the entrepreneurs behind them. If you think of anything else other than this, I'll be very happy. We can improve. We should improve. Now, you know, I love this concept, and this concept is that of Antra leader, no more leadership actually. What is an Antra leader? An entrepreneur who creates more leaders like him, under him and around him, is an Antra leader. Now, this is a skill that you will have to acquire if you want to scale up businesses in the future. It's not just going to be about your leadership. Ask my people around me how much I'm forcing them to think like an entrepreneur, because the problem in family businesses is that they don't even have an option to take up a job now in the future. And a lot of people from the family business are there. And, you know, if you know that what I'm talking about, our children cannot work for anybody. And therefore, whatever skills I'm talking about are very important for family business people and their next generation. And we need to have that ability, therefore, to create entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial thinking amongst the younger generation, because that is what is going to be the future. Some of the apps, another I was telling you, the Meesho, which is a startup in India, again, it's hugely valued today, where these Delhi IIT people, they have created it. I have a case study today on that. It's allowing people to start businesses with zero investment. We will see how they are doing it, right? So becoming an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, even if you are part of an organization, if you are not an intrapreneur, you will not grow. You will be in the back office, and back office will not give you future. And that back office also is getting affected because of artificial intelligence, because of all those blockchain, etc. And a lot of automation is going to come in there. Already with Tally coming in, I think a lot of things have changed for the accountants, right? So you see, for the lawyers also, now there are supercomputers who are analyzing the cases and giving the judgments, etc. You know, the artificial intelligence is becoming one very powerful disruptor in the future. So if you are not going to be an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, there are not going to be very many jobs left, right? So if you can, in the education space, also create a a business idea where you promote entrepreneurship amongst people and you help them become part of an ecosystem where they can earn their livelihoods and they can grow their businesses, it's going to be an amazing idea, right? One of the businesses we are going to be talking about is doing this already. So developing your leadership and team building skills, okay? And those who work with me, they know my theory of Belgian horses, and it's coming in the next. I've prepared a separate slide, and the theory is this: that one Belgian horse can pull 8,000 pounds worth of load. How much you think two Belgian horses can pull? I don't want my people to answer. Any guesses? Any guesses? One horse, 8,000 pounds. Two horses,
16,000.
Of course not.
8,000.
No.
then this question would have been
Less than 8,000.
No, same,
It will
same.
be 8,000.
Same.
It should be less than 8,000.
It will be
It
divided
will be
into
same.
two.
Yeah, so it
Okay.
will be around.
now you see I said learn from nature. Remember, we have
Yes,
to learn
yes.
from nature.
Yes.
32,000 pounds.
Thank you. Two horses that have grown up together, trained together, completely in sync with good chemistry will pull 32,000 pounds. Right? Is Vishal there? Vishal? This is one.
This is Rajender Jeer who responded.
Rajendra ji, thank you. So 32,000. Now if you go on, that means the equation is 2 to the power of something. 2 to the power of, if it is 4 horses, it's 2 to the power of 4 into 2. It's a crazy mathematics. So that is the power of team building, and that is the power of teams. So I find that today a lot of entrepreneurs, they think, I will do it on my own. They find it so difficult to work with people. This is where they are going to suffer. Why? Because one person, future is not for one person, one man idea. Okay, one man will only be more likely a delivery boy. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you'll have to learn, and you'll have to learn the skill of being antra leaders, that you first become entrepreneur, then you ignite others about the idea and let around you, and you create so many leaders who are entrepreneurs like you, right? So be flexible and quick to imbibe habits that will shorten your journey time to success. The habits, like I said, starting your day, ending your day, it's a habit. How much time you are in front of the TV? How many times in the week you are sitting with a bottle? Because every time you sit with a bottle, next day is not that you're not that sharp. Right? So these are some of the examples of the habits. Now, every business will require certain type of habits which are going to take you forward. And those habits you must imbibe first, and you must ask all your team members also to emulate. So creating team and creating formidable teams so that you create rapid innovation, right? And this is another thing I tell people. If you are lucky if you have in your house an entrepreneur for whom you are working or with whom you are working. Because when you work with an entrepreneur, you learn from the great masters, you listen to all, but be original. Don't try to emulate them because they are in their space, but there's something special about you. So, there are a lot of programs today, shadow a leader, etc. I'm part of some of the startups where we get the entrepreneurs to spend one day with one very successful entrepreneur. They see what all they do from morning to evening. They're even part of the boardroom meetings, etc. But by following a leader, by spending some time with a successful entrepreneur, there's a great amount of learning that you end up doing. Do that. Okay. And this is the most important. I said selling, building networking capabilities, because networking is now very important. We are living in a very highly connected world. People know people who know people. And therefore, if we are now today talking about creating a business, let's say in the food space, or let's say in the packaging space, right? And I have found 4 great people on this webinar, then they will know certain people, and how quickly we can get and create a team together of very successful, let's say, board of directors who will guide this venture forward. So building network, and then when you are selling, also you will need networking. A lot of people, they don't take referrals from their customers. In fact, I tell, we must, and one of the ways that I built my business right from 1993 onwards is taken referrals and told people. In fact, recently also there was, I think 2 days ago, when we were in that kind of situation, right, Vandan, you are there, where we solved this problem of giving the referral, and the problem got solved, right?
Yes.
Yes. So people know people, networking is important. Now, this is a critical, a very, very popular question. People come, sir, I am now building my team. I have so many people in team. I said, how many promoters you have? We are 10 people. I said, 10 people? And then when I listen about what those 10 people do, of them, 7 of them are just very good friends, very good friends. But do they have competencies? Answer is no. But just because they are friends, they say that, he's also a promoter. But what does he do? Oh, he does his own business. Is he going to put in time? Answer is no. Then what is he going to do? No, we know each other. We end up hanging together for a long time, etc., etc. I said, is he going to put in money? Yes, he'll bring in some money. How much? Well, we have not discussed that. So, the very important questions on how you decide that this person is going to be my partner and this person is going to be my employee. I have a SERP principle. C stands for competencies. And if you are building a board of directors, then every person preferably must have competencies that are complementary. If 2 people have the same competency, it is not an ideal situation. Okay? Why? Because there will be conflicts. Because both are capable people, they are going to think differently. And I'm giving you this principle for partnerships that will work. Why partnerships fail is because one of these 4 elements is missing. Right? Competencies should be complementary. E is for effort. Effort must be matching. If one person ends up spending 18 hours a day and the other person is only going to spend 2 hours a day, this partnership is going to fall apart. If not today, maybe at that critical time when the company is going in for first round of funding or second round of funding. I have actual examples where this is happening. Initially, because of emotional reasons, people came together, but then it starts pinching them. And particularly when they have wives, which they didn't have at the time of startup, but after 6 months, one of them got married, and then she starts saying that, तुम्हारा वो तो partner 4 घंटे ही काम करता है, तुम 18 घंटे काम करते हो. All this gets into a very ugly kind of situations. And then the teams fall apart. When the teams fall apart, the whole startup falls apart. Okay, so effort, there has to be an equal commitment from everyone on time, not just money. Money also, but that is coming as R as resources. But effort is on time. R is for resources. And resources, one of the resources is money, but other resources is your contacts, people you know. That's also a resource. You know how resourceful you are in terms of networking, how much time you put into, get other people leverage on your contacts. That's a resource. So resource have to be matching, and P is the personality type. Now, that's a separate lecture I have, which is on rapport building. Unless people have rapport with each other, that means their cash CV areas, knowledge, attitude, skills, habits, character, and values, they have to be resonating. If one says that one person is never say a lie, the other person is lying all the time, this is not going to work. Value systems have to match. Character. एक को 99 degrees बुखार आया, वो 3 दिन घर में छुट्टी लेके बैठ गया, and the other person at 101 also is eating croissant and working. These people are not going to be able to work together. So your competencies, your effort, your resources, and your personality types, if they gel well and they match, only then these partnerships will work and they become promoters, right? Any person, any competency which can be hired, okay? For example, a regular sales person you can hire. But if you have an amazing salesperson who's also a coding guy, right? Mark Zuckerberg, right? Or the other Sean, who was his partner. Now, if those are the kind of people, yes, they become your partners. But if it is a regular sales, okay, where it is going to sell based on pricing and there's nothing extra that you end up doing, well, that's an employee, right? So competencies which are core competencies, and competency, like when you're in a startup mode, if you have to spend very heavily on, let's say, your e-commerce, and one of the co-promoters has that, and he is going to take charge of that area, then he has to be a promoter, because that is going to be a lot of spending that you'll have to do year after year, right? And so some basics of who's an employee and who's a partner. Now, we already did this, the Belgian horse. So I'm just giving 2 horses, 32,000, 3 horses, 64,000, 4 horses, 144,000, but they have to be in sync and trained together. Coming to the concept of Antra leadership, right? Entrepreneurs who are leaders and who create more leaders. What are their traits? And these traits have to be imbibed before we thinking of a new idea. And each of these traits, of course, I have separate presentations, they're natural leaders, right? I mean, natural leaders are the ones who are not really worried about what, tag you give me. Am I a general manager, or am I a manager, or am I a CEO? They work without any designation. These are natural leaders. I call them leaders without a title. And of course, sticking with the startup mindset, right? Continuously evaluate how you can do more with less, develop a collaborative model instead of doing everything yourself. Like in this example, I was saying, can we collaborate with farmers, right? So that they get interested in more sales and they get interested in giving fresh produce to you first, because they are partners in this venture. Innovative mindset, promoting innovation as a way of life. Every small thing, how can I do it better? That is the innovator's mindset. And then you groom more leaders continuously who think like entrepreneurs, right? So considering the challenges in the future business environment, global organizations will need to cultivate and nurture an ever-growing population of Antra leaders. Actually, there's a book on Antra leadership also, I'll give you. Doris just reminded me, I'll send you the details. You must read that. Delegate and be around to help. I say a lot of people I see, they just delegate and then some things go wrong. Delegate for sure, but delegate with control. Okay? Co-pilot doesn't go away and you are going to be a co-pilot. So that's another concept when you are trying to build businesses on a sustainable basis globally. Serve your leader's mindset. Now, you know, in the teams, of course, there are going to be leaders who have leaders under them, but every leader is having a service mindset. They are serving others. This is very important as for the teams to work together. You help them grow, help them give and grow the business stakeholders at large. That means everyone is helping each other grow. Now that is a mindset that works wonders at the time of scale up. Most of the businesses, they fail in scale up, in execution. But if you have this mindset, that is serve your leaders mindset in the core team, and then you create teams around with this mindset where everyone is serving each other, you will have great teams and your business is going to scale up very, very fast. Communication is very important. You know, communication about the vision. As a leader, you have a vision. You know that I'm going to take this company from here to there in 5 years. But research shows that as a leader, unless you communicate this vision to your team, your partners, your promoters, and your employees, 21 times at the minimum, this vision doesn't get carried through. So leader's job is to continuously keep talking about this vision till the time people really, really get it. And of course, this is a very important concept in Tantra leadership, which is a balanced leadership. You know, in leadership, there are masculine traits and there are feminine traits. Now, which are the aggressiveness, you know, aggressive sales. Now, that's a very masculine trait, right? Decisiveness, again, a masculine trait, which is, I mean, I don't want to, but yes, there are women leaders are also very, very decisive. But definitely items like love, care, patience, making someone feel special, these are feminine traits. Now, as a leader, we have to have both masculine and feminine traits in us. So we show them, we exhibit them, you know, first to employees, then to suppliers, then to customers, society at large. It is a very, very important trait for an Tantra leader, right? So that's so much on the concepts, and we have about 35 minutes. If you have any questions, let's have some discussion. Otherwise, I'll give you some other examples from Indian scene of some of the startups that are creating disruptions. And then I have a very interesting movie on how the world is going to look like in 2050. Right? Because that is the telescopic vision I want to give you, because that will help you create some thoughts around what future businesses can be created, which way we can innovate, how you can disrupt what is coming in. So you tell me, any questions? I see some comments on the chat from Mr. Mahesh. Okay, no, he just said he's okay. Any questions? Any thoughts? Rajendra ji?
We are mesmerized.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nothing
Honestly.
much.
Okay, so let's move forward to some of those.
Mr. Sagal, I just have one question. It may
Yes.
not be really relevant. I just wanted to know what is the entrepreneurship 2.030 mean?
It's 2030, which I
30.
converted into 2.03. So that means if you have to succeed in 2030, these are the traits you definitely need to have even before you think of your first business idea.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
One question, sir.
Yes.
Yesterday, I spoke to you about the biodegradable tableware which we are going to enter into.
Right.
Yes. You have some thoughts on this subject of your own? You have any data? Share?
No, I have frankly not, but we can have a separate discussion after I've done some research. I need to look at your products and then
Okay.
we can talk about it. And, definitely one of the ideas I have is to, create partnerships with the innovators like you who are going to be the producers, and we can market them, because
Okay.
I have been a marketer all my life and
Okay.
global marketer at that. So we can collaborate, but I need to get details of your products, and
Yes.
then definitely we can discuss ways. So there was one similar business which was based out of Chennai. I don't know, and he had come out with an idea of edible spoon,
Yes. Andhra.
right? I mean,
Yes.
Edible spoons and everything, whatever you eat, you can eat that.
right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very innovative, and but yes, in your case, definitely I see. You know, I'm a great believer in this book. Again, I'm telling you, spiritual entrepreneurship. If you are serving the nature, there's no way you will fail. Only thing is your innovation must have those 7 ingredients.
Okay.
So that's what is these concepts in action. So you look at that slide of mine where I'm talking about assured innovation. If it is
Yes.
affordable, scalable, sustainable, universal, rapid, then E was for
E was excellence.
Excellence, excellence.
Excellence.
D was distinctive,
Distinctive.
right? These 7 things we will build. You know, a lot of the times, we'll have to look at the pricing also. Is it affordable?
Yes.
Can we make it affordable? Let's look at that. And affordable doesn't mean always cheap prices, right? You remember in the yesterday's case study when we took Sweet Green, where
Yes.
not Sweet Green, Appeal Sciences, where it's a cost to apply that peel onto the vegetable and fruits. That's a cost.
Yes. Yes.
But they have been able to say that, look, so much percentage of the produce was getting wasted. So there was so much waste in the system, which they are reducing to so much. Okay. And the cost that they are asking is only a percentage of the saving that they are going to be making.
Yes.
Sir, I would like to share one example over here about the cost. Yesterday we were talking who will bear the cost of
Can I
this
see you,
product.
Palvi?
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Sir, yesterday we were talking about who will bear the cost.
Yeah.
So I read something in the morning about the, this kind of product, and so the retailers like Walmart and Kroger, okay, they have some kind of projects, like Kroger have the project of Zero Waste, Zero Hunger, which is in line with the United Nations.
Yeah.
So they want to reduce their wastage. So they are coming up with different kind of ideas. So they are looking for this kind of products which will save their, save their products and less wastage at their end.
Right.
So this is one thought about this. Second is BASF also have the biodegradable plastic, EcoBio. So this I would like to share because they
We
have
are already making so many biodegradable bags with using their material actually.
material. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact,
So-
there is another company in Taiwan which is also giving the same product. So there are, other than BASF also now alternatives are coming. So there is a difference. There's a biodegradable and there's a biocompostable.
This is BSF biocompostable actually.
Yeah. Now it is expensive, but then you know, this whole mindfulness about environment, once that comes in, and once the, as I said, the government has to work with the industry. If the government is also, you know, the plastic lobby is very, very strong. Yeah. Now somewhere the government policies will also have to evolve. So for which you know, arrest this global warming. And that is happening. That is happening around the world.
Biodegradable plastics is the most dangerous thing actually, and requires a lot of legislature to curtail, because it degrades the plastic into microplastics, which is then not even collectible.
Okay, so
the compostable will be composted, but the it just disintegrates the plastic. Right now, see, a bag thrown can be picked up.
Eric, can I talk something?
Yes,
Arun?
Yeah, please.
Doctor, yes, please.
See, Eric,
I'm learning myself.
As far as biodegradable tablewares or other products are concerned, even as on today, unfortunately, there are no BIS specifications for this. Number one. Number two, lot of products which I have seen, I have a lot of samples. When you talk about the curries, when you put our South Indian curries, or when you put sometimes oils in that, okay, there is a, you know,
absorption.
Exactly. So there is absorption. So that's why there are no specifications available. Everybody is producing based on their own technology, their own knowledge.
These points we are taking care of. Yes.
Yeah, number two, Pallavi talked about the biodegradable polymer. See, there are polylactic acids. Polymers are made from polylactic acid, which are biocompostable. But unfortunately, nobody is producing in India. They are very expensive, and that's why it's not in the what you call in a commercial way possible at the moment. But yes, there are certain polymers which are, as Eric has said, that it creates a problem. But there are certain polymers abroad, especially in Korea and even in Germany.
BSF are the innovators for this kind of this thing, and it is very expensive. I agree to this.
But Eric, I have a lot of information on the project which you are talking about. I'm sure you must be well ahead than what information I have, but we can talk it over.
Yes.
Okay. This is Rajendra Jeer here. I just want to say something about these biodegradable plastics and things like that. Can I?
Yeah,
sure. Yes, please.
The trouble is that today this biodegradable is fine, but to what extent, and what's the quality and the ultimate absorption of the degraded end product? You see, today these micro particles of plastic are so dangerous that it has been established by research that on the average every human being is consuming almost the size of a credit card or bank debit card kind of amount of plastic, at least in a week, by using plastic packaging, and it's very dangerous to health. So while this idea is very good, one got to really go beyond. It's not that you kill one devil and create another two.
Rajendra, remember we just studied that we have to be a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah, so that is what is
important. One second. We have to learn to do more with less.
Yeah.
That makes us a lazypreneur, and I am a lazypreneur. You saw the bowls yesterday in that sweet
greens.
Sweet greens. Yeah.
That is something.
I would just go to US market. I would just go to who's making that kind of bowl. I'll just see what they are doing there, because I'll tell you the US FDA is very, very stringent about any of these kind of concerns that we are talking about. There will be a lot to learn. We don't have to today reinvent the wheel.
No, certainly not. The aim is to say that
we can see what these countries, I can tell you in Japan also, there are a lot of biodegradable products available.
Yes,
In
sir.
this
Yes,
space.
sir. True, true, true.
Okay. Now, as a creative entrepreneur, let's see what these developed countries have come out with. Can we get one of those companies to collaborate with here?
Yes, yes,
No,
that's
I
important.
think
I'm just dissenting for the sake of dissenting, so that all these lot of these degradable stuff enters water and enters the environment.
yes,
Yeah,
And does
that's
more
an
damage.
oxoplastic. It's called oxoplastic commercially. It
Yeah,
disintegrates into microplastics. That
yeah,
no,
is not what we need, and people have like
and that's
fooled
more harmful. That's more
very
harmful.
much more harmful. Yes,
see, I
these
think
producers have fooled the public.
Sir, again, I'm telling you, if you've been to Sweden, if
Yeah.
you've been to Denmark, any of these countries, okay, if you go to US, go to Japan, go to Korea, these are the countries I am 100% sure we will learn from. Okay.
Yes.
So all this discussion where, we are only looking at barriers as to what cannot be done. It's actually a thought process I don't encourage in entrepreneurs.
No, no, no,
If
sir.
you look
We are
for
not.
hurdles, if you look for
No,
hurdles, you will only see hurdles. If
no,
you
no,
look
sir.
for
We
a
are
way
not
around,
discussing hurdles.
no. I think cycle, sir. I think what Rajendra is saying is also makes a point. But
We are
as
not
what,
looking for hurdles. We
yeah,
are
yeah,
no,
as
saying that
what,
I know,
one
but
should be convinced about the
that,
viability to start with.
correct.
Yeah, no, the
all
product
I'm
I'm
saying
talking
is,
about is 100% compostable. It is tested and everything.
Yeah,
Yes,
see,
yes.
I'll tell you, Arik, you must be aware that Cycle sir, US, UK, they have their own norms and specifications for these biodegradable compostable tablewares.
Yes,
And I think, Eric, you must be aware there is a very big company in Faridabad.
yes,
Okay, they are exporting a lot. They are doing it from Bagas. It's one of the
yes,
largest company today in India who makes all these tablewares. There are three companies, I mean 6 companies in Malaysia, 3 companies in Philippines. They are
yes.
already into the tableware based on the biocompostable and biodegradable. In fact,
Yeah,
I tried
Faridabad
to
is,
get a
you are talking
collaboration,
about
but
EcoWare, I think, no?
no. EcoWare is here in India.
Ah,
I'm talking about there is a company in Faridabad. I forgot the name. I know the owner, but I forgot the name of the company. It's a big name. It's a very
okay,
big
okay.
company. I mean,
Ah,
they are producing tons and tons in 1,000 tons per day, and they are importing bagasse. Yesterday I mentioned that bagasse is imported. They import bagasse from Philippines and Indonesia. The second
Thailand
thing
also.
is that Malaysian company, I myself tried for a collaboration,
Ah,
but none of the Malaysian companies interested in collaboration. In fact, there is a very big Malaysian company. The owner is Indian.
okay.
So there are technologies coming up. We are too behind. Sorry to say, Cycle sir,
Hmm.
but
don't
we
be
are
on
too
behind, sir.
behind
No,
in,
I am
in
with
this
you.
particular aspect. We have not yet designed the specifications. I have got samples in my house. If you put the curry for 6 hours, 8 hours, you will find it starts percolating. So
So,
what you need also, there are some products to be embedded in this particular tableware so that you enhance this particular.
Presently, I'm making a paper straw. If you keep it in water for a day, it will not disintegrate.
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
what we can discuss this because on paper straw bagasse, this was a project which I was working for 1 or
Yes,
2
sir.
years
I'll be in
back.
touch with you.
No issues,
Eric,
no
sir,
issues.
Yes,
No
Eric, sir,
yes.
problem. Thank you very much.
again,
No,
whatever product we are talking about, that's assured metrics. If it passes that, the
Yes.
universality comes in, we have a product which is going to work. Now, we also talked about, how there was a gap between the legal environment of business and the innovations that are taking place, right?
Yes.
And this is also one of those cases where, maybe we do not have those standards still. But again, I think if we have a great product and we can talk to the government machinery, of course, it is an effort that we will have to put in. But the awareness about being environmentally friendly, having environmentally friendly products has come in. And if we can also create case studies from other countries, one of the things that I have seen, particularly in case of, for example, your these towers, okay, for the mobile phones, we have these networking, the mobile phone towers. The emission levels are different for different countries. USA has different levels, India has different levels. And if you have been reading on this, that a lot of celebrities have also been complaining about these towers, etc. And then people have been claiming that they are cancer causing, etc., etc. And I was reading a paper where the Indian, ecosystem allows for much higher level of emissions signals around us than what they allow in the US. So we have to, of course, this is a battle when we are talking about fixing of all these legal, let's say, standards, etc. But I think it is definitely a field of the future, and some hurdles may come our way, but if we can refer to some of the success stories, it will just facilitate our journey and create some ease in that path. So let's take then now some of the, sir, we
Hello.
talked about yesterday Ola, our Indian startups. In fact, Ola has just picked up
Hello.
Ola has just picked up a company in Amsterdam,
Hello.
Ola Electric.
Yeah, just one question.
Yes.
I wanted to know if we'll be discussing anything on the education front. I mean, in entrepreneurship and
Education front, you mean in the education sector?
yeah, education sector. Yeah.
Well, am I talking to Nirmal ji or Ajendra ji?
Yeah. No, Nirmal.
Nirmal ji.
This to Nirmal.
Yeah, we have some case studies there in the education, but I haven't prepared it for today. But I can definitely share with you one-on-one. Are you from the education sector?
No, I'm interested. I do teach. Like I'm more interested in the gap between currently the gap between what we have, the people who graduate and what the industry demands. So I've seen a lot of gap.
I know,
And
but we don't have really. I have not heard of any unicorns in the education sector yet in India. Of course, there are companies which are still struggling, and there are companies at the primary level who are trying to create different business models, and then there are companies who are now creating, holographic kind of educational content for engineering colleges
because
where you can learn.
if you see the lopsided nature of people trying to graduate becoming doctors and engineers more than other other disciplines and other things, and the kind of slowdown that we are looking, or the kind of specialization that we are looking into the sectors, there is a big gap between what is expectation and what is, I mean, what is taught is still archaic and
Absolutely.
doesn't.
I am Nirmalji. Our education system requires a complete revamp.
Correct.
Complete revamp, and unfortunately, that can be done only with the government's help. And because any educational institution that eventually requires government's approvals, etc. So there is a lot of regulatory framework there. Unless that changes, and that's a very, very different matter. I think we can discuss that for a long time. But one thing that is happening is the education sector is becoming highly disruptive. There's so much of free content available that today people are not looking at your degrees. People are looking. There are so many entrepreneurs out there actually who are school dropouts.
I think one of the sectors which can become disruptive is the counseling that might be required to people.
Sorry?
What the counseling that might be required, that is what field to take in the future, or what
Yeah.
what aptitude testing or whatever.
Right, but you know, the thing is, you remember yesterday we discussed, if you were there, I said the only ability that you need is your ability to learn anything new, because whatever education you impart today is going to be outdated 3 years down the road. That is how in future the disruptions are going to be taking place, right? The technologies are going to be making it very difficult for businesses. That's why even at our age, I mean, I will be learning continuously. You know, all these case studies in the video forms that you have seen, I have taken clips from maybe 5, 6 videos, 3 videos, and I have myself done the video editing at this. I learned it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So gone are the days where you have to, today you have to learn every new technology coming, and there are apps, and it was so simple. You know, initially I was scared, but then one night I did not sleep. I said, I'm not going to give up. Full night I was awake, and I tried to make, clippings, cutting down movies, and then joining the clips together. I started enjoying it. And little did I realize it was 7:30 in the morning. And then I went on till 12:30, khana kha ke, then I slept, and then I said that now I'm going to create. You know, earlier I told you, now I will give you case study tomorrow. Yesterday, sir said that, sir, Indian case study. So today, it took me just 5 minutes to put this clip together. I'm going to show that to you. So your ability to learn anything new is what is going to decide. You know, when robotics are coming in, your surgeries are going to be more precise in the hands of a robot. This is already happened. Nano robots which can enter your eye. They are now coming out with robots which are of the size of a bacteria. They will be put in your body. They will do the job that is expected to be, targeted drug delivery system. Suppose somebody is having hypertension, somebody is having also thyroid problem, somebody, and also let's say diabetes. Today you are having 3 different pills. Now with new drug delivery system using nanotechnology, you can have one pill once a month, and that will release the required amount of drug at given intervals in your body. That is where nanotechnology is taking us, right? Garments like this, which can prevent penetration of a bullet. Okay, so I have this movie which is year 2050, but before that, I want to use this time to show you this Indian example first. So let me.
Sehgal sir, I have one question, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Sir, since you are the guru of international market.
I'm not a guru, I'm a student.
No, sir. And I just want to know if you could throw some light on the strategies which could be used. Hello?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, you are audible. I can hear you.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to see some suggestions from you. If you could share some thoughts, or if you could give some advice on how can use new marketing strategies to penetrate international markets in this scenario. Hello?
In the current scenario. Hello?
Yes, sir. That was the question.
Yeah, in the current COVID scenario, depends on the product. Again, there are some, the basic in intangibles in the business, which are trust, reliability. Okay, if you can deliver in the current scenario, can you accept an order which says that if you are not going to deliver on time, you will not get paid?
I'm at home. I'll change my plan.
New relationships establishing in the current scenario is hugely challenging. Okay, your existing customers who have trust in you will give you business, but establishing new businesses in the existing scenario is going to be a very tough proposition unless you bring something very extraordinary on the table, and it could be a very unique product or a unique service. Like I tell you, in my business, we paid 25% extra on air freight, did not charge the customer during the COVID times. Why? Because airlines, they multiplied their freights that they were charging on different routes. There were a couple of consignments that were very, very urgently needed by the customers. And I had given free hand to and we have an in-house logistics. And I said, if airline companies, they are asking for more for an assured, service that they will not leave behind our cargo, give them extra, but make sure that you deliver. We did that and we got repeat order immediately. Okay, now, can you bring that trustworthiness and reliability in the current times? As I said, that intangibles in the business have not changed. What are the intangibles? Your reliability, your trust, how you care for the customer. If you can deliver that in whichever way, depending upon the product you will penetrate the customer. There are customers who are looking for some products which they are not there in the market. Hydroxychloroquine, for example, in these recent times, suddenly they were not there in the market, right? We started production of hydroxychloroquine by completely backward integration, right? So you give to the customer, when we are yet to come out with the production because we are still facing a lot of difficulties because it's not so easy to manufacture all the raw materials without China. And Chinese had increased prices tremendously. So if you can, again, it's an innovation, right? If you can do that, great. But right now is the time that your existing customers are going to be more dependable. But making your effort, if you can bring in some USP, if you can bring in some unique thing on the table, and some product, some service, maybe payment terms, you can, people are looking for long payment terms.
Flexible payment terms, yeah.
So something you will have to bring in on the table to penetrate into different customers. Of course, very attractive pricing is another way.
Yeah.
But that's usually only a paper strategy, because already I have seen that most of the times the pricing that is there is already you find it very difficult to match, right?
Yeah, especially in plastics, because my the company where I work, they manufacture packaging. Yeah, so especially in plastics, there is a lot of competition from China, and especially in this scenario, the import duties and the dollar rates have, shooted up so high that none of the countries are willing to import under this circumstance. So this is like, a very bad situation for our sales. So of course it will be better in next couple of months, but we just cannot, guarantee that.
Ask, in these circumstances, I always ask, you have a friendly discussion with the customer, and the customer always keeps talking about how this will become. So I say, okay, what can I do which will convert your no into a yes?
Yes, yeah.
So, can I say something here?
Yeah.
This is the perfect time for your boss to think about shifting. Plastics is outdated. You see, I'm a plastic man myself. I used to run a plastic molding shop till 31st of Jan this year.
Wow.
And I tell you, plastics is the golden material. It's it's we who have made a mess of it by
Yes, true,
making throwing filth around the place. Plastics is not the
Right.
culprit per
Culprit,
se.
yes.
There's no
True.
substitute for it.
For
But
plastic,
anyway,
exactly. They
whatever it
cannot
is,
ban
but
it that way.
no, they will ban it because of since we can't control ourselves. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, this is a right time to transfer because China is being cut off from the US and so
Yes,
many places.
yes.
This is the time to think about it. And another
Right.
point which I have for Mr. Rajendra, he was talking about education. Huh? You see,
Nirmal,
if
Nirmal is
you,
talking.
Mr. Nirmal.
Mr. Nirmal,
Nirmal.
yes, if you can start an educational university which will then develop the traits what Mr. Segal was talking about. You know, because our colleges don't teach
Sir,
these things. They teach
I
you
want a
history,
partner
geography,
for that.
all that. Yeah, that's the right thing now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
need a
yeah.
new. Only two things are basic. One is mindfulness and application of mind. If you are mindful,
Very
you will know
beautifully
what
put.
to. You see, yeah, I'm 66 years old. I faced a cheating situation for a lot of money.
Hmm.
I
Who is the
decided.
eldest here?
Okay, now
Silence,
we are
sir.
competing
At
in the
this,
wrong area.
yeah, but after the age of 60, I decided that I should go to court and I didn't want to trust another lawyer. I studied law and I won my case.
Wonderful.
You see, so that's what I'm saying. Application of mind is a must and mindfulness is equally required. So that gentleman who was speaking about education, no? If you
Nirmal ji.
start a university
Yeah,
training people in these traits, no, of thinking the
But
right
Eric sir,
manner,
I will say that you don't have to think as large as a university. Also, Nirmal ji himself, sir, if you have any core competencies and you can deliver and you can increase your reach to global level on any of the concepts, okay, I think this is an age of specialization, and there are a lot of individuals who have created their YouTube channels, but you see, it's all content is free. But while you are going through the content, there are so many brands coming in with there. So the business models have become different. The problem is people are not willing to pay for now the knowledge. Unless you convert that knowledge in the form of a workshop. For example, if today I say that I am going to create a channel where I want entrepreneurs and I'll help them build businesses. Their ideas stepwise. So we have let's say day 1, day 2, day 3, and I give them an individual one-on-one coaching. Okay, I can charge them. But if I'm going to come with these general, concepts, you will find it difficult to, get payment out of these people as an individual because a lot of free content is already out there. You want to learn on anything today, you can learn. You can learn biotechnology full course, free. You can learn coding, free. What you want to learn, you can learn finance free.
correct.
You learn the art of investment. So education is getting disrupted in a very big way. In fact, I am questioning whether these degrees are really in another 5 years, whether these degrees are going to have value. Because if I impart competence in a student to become an entrepreneur and have the ability to develop a business, learn anything new, any new technology, we are talking about coatings or we are talking about anything, it's all there. It is more important now to get into the depth of the knowledge. For example, if I want to have an appeal science kind of business, you can learn everything about the coating, etc. And then, of course, some basic science empowerment is needed, but you can learn everything free. It's very important to go in for that kind of empowerment rather than general degrees. This MBA degree is going to be obsolete. That is the disruption we are into. Engineering is going to become very applied. And that's where the Indian education system, rather than mugging, which is we are testing the memory of students right from the age 4 and above. We just test their memory, not application. Our education, the disruption is needed there, where, we create kids that we help them become thinkers. We help them become innovators. Because why all the innovations are happening in these 4 countries? US, Germany, UK, Japan, Korea. China, big time. If you study the education system in China, there is so much to learn. And
our education helps people to become good employers. Employees. Sorry.
Employees. See, there's an interview of, I think, Apple CEO as to why Apple is manufacturing in China and not in India. Do a Google search. It's an eye opener. That how he says that how capable these Chinese students are, and and even if you go to the US universities, the population of Chinese students is huge, and they are giving run for money for all the Indian candidates, and they are English speaking, and they go back, and the kind of innovations that China has done, and it is not a joke that people are talking that they are going to surpass American economy. They will. And no matter how much we keep talking about, we will not buy made in China, I know it is not possible, because they have built their industry on a very robust strategy.
Saigal sir, people must have seen there is a boy from Bihar who has just recently, the video is becoming viral.
Yeah.
That particular boy has given a very good eye-opening. If you want to really surpass China, how many things you need to do? And he has talked about the ethics of the working of the people there.
Yeah.
Very young boy.
See,
very
China
good video.
Sir, China is here to stay. I have no, we can get emotional, and we can, if you're looking at even building businesses, I'll tell you today, Chinese will become a better technology partners with India. It's better to get them as a technology partner in India after we, resolve all our differences on the border. Okay. But if both China and India can somehow collaborate together for business, it's a great future.
The best way to join hands is to join the countries.
Which is going on.
Okay. So on that note, should we take this Indian example? Because I tell you, you looked at the kind of Chinese companies that we talked about, and you look at the scale at which they are operating, and you look at the scale at which our Indian company. Now, we take pride in saying that we are a technology country, and we have Infosys, and we have Wipros, and we have the TCS. But, Windows, iOS, all these operating systems, all America-based, right? We have not created any of these kind of products, even despite taking pride in that we are a software leader, etc., and a good percentage comes from software industry. But here is anyway one of the best examples which comes from the Indian startup space. Let's take a look at them. And now, this was Ola Electric. In fact, I have a list of around 50 top Indian technology disruptors. Ola Electric has been voted to be the #1 technology disruptor in India. And you see, this is not in that typical Internet of Things kind of space that we discussed yesterday. So Ola Electric, which was set up in 2017, will work with driver partners, cities, vehicle manufacturers, and battery companies to make sustainable technologies cost-effective and viable in daily mobility. Disruptive quotient, Ola Electric has an ambitious target to deploy 1 million electric vehicles by 2021. 1 million. with around 10,000 of them by end of 2019 itself. I don't know whether that has happened. It is also building charging. I think it has happened. It is also building charging infrastructure and swappable batteries for these vehicles. In March this year, Hyundai Motor and Kia Motor announced an investment of $300 million in Ola with a focus on electric vehicles. As part of this partnership, Hyundai, Ola, and Kia will develop unique fleets and different mobility solutions. Just acquired Etergo or Etergo scooters in Amsterdam. And the next is the small movie on what they are doing from TV18 Actual News.
Ola Electric acquires Amsterdam-based Etergo, aims to launch electric two-wheelers by 2021. With this acquisition, Ola Electric has now entered the premium electric two-wheeler market both globally and nationally. Ola Financial Services, which operates Ola Money, raises 205 crore rupees from Matrix Partners. On what's brewing today, Ola Electric Mobility, which is a part of Ola Group, has acquired Amsterdam-based electric scooter maker Etergo. This marks the company's foray into the premium electric two-wheeler market. Ola Electric is all set to launch its electric two-wheeler by 2021. To know more about this acquisition and the road ahead, I have with me BVR Subbu, board member at the company and formerly the president of Hyundai Motors India. Subbu, thank you so much for speaking to us on Startup Street. Let me start this conversation by asking you, when exactly can we expect Ola Electric to roll out this electric two-wheeler? The press statement that you released said that 2021, that is the timeline, but any specific month or date that you have planned right now?
You know, things are so difficult to predict on a day-to-day basis today that even saying one very confident statement. Let me put it to you like this, that Etergo has already got its product in place. It's practically got its distribution network up and running. So I expect that we should see Etergo in the European space, putting out volumes, consistent volumes by towards the end of this year and early 2021. That's where I see Etergo taking off. That's when you will see newer products also coming up on the anvil, things that will come in thereafter to India, I would imagine. So I would expect you should see, and from what we've been informed of the board, we would expect to see a Etergo-based design in the Indian markets in about 12 months from now, all going well.
Okay. So about a year from now, that's your estimate. But I am tempted to ask, what about this startup attracted you to kind of bet your money on? And was it their products being different from what's already out there in the two-wheeler space? And also, you said Etergo-based design. So will it be the same vehicle that Ola Electric will also launch in India, or is there going to be some India-specific product?
Well, let's look upon Etergo as a global company, and I expect that that Ola Electric Mobility will keep Etergo's basic DNA intact and keep it as a global company. When Etergo decides that it comes to India, is something that Etergo will also have a say in the thing. But I would expect what attracted the board of Ola to Etergo. I think its competence, its technology competence is quite unparalleled. I was saying this in an earlier show a couple of hours back, that I believe there are only two Indian IC engine manufacturers of two-wheelers who would have the same kind of competencies and technology capabilities as Etergo does. Now, that is Etergo's strength. When you have those kind of capabilities and you have styling competency of a very, very high order, its product won a European award for electric two-wheelers. So, you're talking about already within just a couple of years, having built a significant, should I say, stature in terms of both technology and styling design. So I think that is what really, attracted Ola and Ola's promoters and his board to look at the Itago acquisition. Where I would see this coming is this, that once you've got that basic foundation of very good product engineering, very good design capabilities and styling capabilities, then you can build anything on it. If you start with the thing saying, I want to import, 400 kits from China, and I'm going to buy 400 containers worth of kits from China, and launch something, that is not a foundation. A foundation is when you acquire technology.
Right. EV fleets, is that going to be the way forward for Ola? Also, every time you talk about EV, this big question about charging infrastructure arises. So what is that looking like? Can you share that plan with us?
I think Ola's already announced a lot of work on that in India for the Indian marketplace. It has started again. Again, it's a question of where you start. You have to have a very strong foundation. So the foundation is the battery. So the started work on the battery. And now that you've got the battery done, you have to actually create capabilities for the charging infrastructure. I think that is in motion now. That's a work in progress. You should see a lot of work happening. Some test case work is already going to start as soon as the COVID relaxations are more permanent. And I think once that happens, and you see electric charging infrastructure coming up in a big way, after that, I believe that would be the ideal time to bring in electric two-wheelers of very high order.
Here is a brief about Ola Electric. Ola Electric is an automotive company having its headquarters in Bangalore, India. It was founded by Anand Shah and Ankit Jain in May 2017. Ola Electric is registered as Ola Electric Mobility Private Limited and have managed to raise approx $300 million as on September 2019. Let us know more about Ola Electric in following video. Ola Electric Mobility Mission Electric, a spun-off from Ola, focused on developing electric vehicle infrastructure in India. The company aims to establish a full-fledged electromobility ecosystem, including charging battery swapping stations and a variety of electric vehicles, e-rickshaws, cabs, buses and shuttles for last-mile transportation. Now, let me answer you a few important questions. What is Mission Electric?
Mission Electric is a platform to work with driver partners, cities, vehicle manufacturers, battery companies, and others to make sustainable technologies cost-effective and viable in daily mobility. Ola is planning to place 10,000 e-rickshaws and electric auto rickshaws in its service in the next 12 months.
How is Ola Electric planning to achieve its target of bringing 1 million EVs on roads?
It is about a business model wherein an electric vehicle can work. This includes various things in it. First is the manufacturing right price of the vehicle, long-lasting batteries and driver's identification. Secondly, a proper charging solution that can create confidence amongst the drivers. Thirdly, the electric vehicles need to be optimized in terms of energy cost, battery life, and components durability.
What is the size of this pilot at the moment and where is it being conducted?
At the moment, the fleet size of this pilot is in a few hundreds. We are conducting these pilots in the National Capital Region and in Nagpur.
Are you working with the vehicle manufacturers on EVs?
If Tata Motors or Mahindra or Hyundai want to build better EV products, we will tell them what we have learned. We deploy vehicles, and if you give us a vehicle and it works the way it is supposed to work with the right costs, we can deploy it. Our commitment is to work with whoever is willing to build vehicles, help put them on the roads, and gear up for electric mobility. we are happy to share our lessons with them. It is a long game and it will take 2 to 3 years more to get to the right answer.
Now let us check out image gallery of Ola Electric. We are sure you will love it.
Yeah, so application of the concepts learned on this. What are the innovations? Do they pass the assured metrics? What is unique about the innovation?
Environment friendly?
Of course, environment friendly, future, green energy.
They are partnering with the main stakeholders, that is the manufacturers, the battery makers, to get the cost reduced to the end client, to the user.
Right. So, you know, they are.
Distinctive features also.
Sorry?
Some of the distinctive features they have compared to other e-bikes.
Yeah. What you see, I'll encourage you to look at how much infrastructure the government of China has developed and what kind of spending is being there in China and the US, and compare how much has been done in India. Now, this is a company which is basically taken a lead in developing the infrastructure for charging, right? And then they are saying that we are now going to partner with anyone who is going to manufacture the vehicles, will take their vehicles and put it on road. Right?
Yes, yes.
It's a beaker model.
Yeah.
Right? So whether it is Mahindra or anybody, bring your vehicle and we are going to put it on road. So they are taking a leadership position and it's a very innovative idea. Right? Again, an innovation, I think, which is going to scale up and so be successful. Because they are the first ones, the first movers advantage. They are creating the infrastructure for electrical charging. They build the batteries. They're starting with scooters, right? Two-wheelers. And let's watch. It's very, very interesting, right? Okay, so you want another Indian example?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Paytm Money, of course, you know, this is the second after Ola Electric that has been taken as the disruptor in India. Yeah, so of course, it is. I mean, I'm just going to read this out very quickly. Paytm Money boasts of over 3 million users, claims to have tied up with all 40 AMCs, yeah, in India, and is doubling down on introducing newer products on its platform. AMC is an asset management company, for those who don't know. Paytm Money also gets a runaway to sell to Paytm's customer base of 400 million. Paytm Payments Bank said it would allow its 42 million customers to invest in mutual funds through Paytm Money. Diversification includes its foray into stock broking services, for which it has acquired necessary SEBI approvals earlier this year, as well as the sale of National Pension Scheme, exchange traded funds, and other financial instruments. This comes when just 2% of India's population has invested in equity-related vehicles, meaning plenty of opportunities for new age digital investment platforms like Paytm Money. Now, since we know about this company, we know Paytm, and we know how they have, you know, increased their base of consumers, and basically they are going into wealth management services. It's not a video that I have on this, but I have thought that since the time is very precious, so I'm going to give you a video on something very interesting, which I talked about, Misho, which is coming. Here is another, there's number 3, Ninja Cart. Now, this is a company which is delivering fresh fruits and vegetables from farm to different retail outlets. And they're doing about 1,500 tons supplied daily to about dozen cities. MyGate is the number 4 disruptor, considered disruptor, voted by a lot of people who do investing. And this is again in the security space. Let's move on to the next, which is Misho, which is where I have created a small video. Now, this is a very different kind of a business idea, which I thought was very, very creative. From homemakers to entrepreneurs, the social commerce way. Misho is creating an environment where anyone can start their business with zero investment. I think I have a video which says it all. So let's go into that. And this video, very, very young, Delhi IIT graduates. So there are over 2 million resellers on the Misho platform today. More than 20,000 manufacturers from 500 towns get distribution facilities through Misho across the country. Misho works on approximately 10 to 15% commission, and sellers can earn by adding a profit margin on every sale. The company saw 50x growth in 2 consecutive years, and the growth in the number of orders, that is year 18 and 19, has been 1,451%. The biggest validation for the company was when Facebook invested in the company. Till date, the startup has raised $215 million in funding. These 3 young boys who are there in the next video, 1450 crore. Let's watch.
Hi Misho resellers, I'm Vidit Atre, founder and CEO of Misho. This month, I sent you an Ask Vidit survey so that you could ask me questions directly. And I'm very excited to tell you that I have received more than 5,000 questions. My team and I discussed these questions, and we are here to answer the most asked and top questions. Meet the Misho leadership team that will answer these questions themselves. Harshit Madan, who is responsible for launching the latest features on the app. Ravleen Kaur, who leads Misho's customer support and delivery operations. And Prateek Agarwal, who gets you the best quality products from across India at the best prices. But before they answer your questions, I want to share some new announcements. We are making Diwali Dubai Wali even bigger with a new contest, Maximum Jewelry Sold. One reseller that sells maximum jewelry between August 20 and October 15 gets to win a Dubai holiday for 2. If you haven't entered the race yet, this is your chance. I also want to remind you that 10 runners-up in each contest will win gift hampers. I will reveal these gift hampers in the next month's video. Another big announcement. This September, we are launching Misho app in 6 Indian vernacular languages: Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and Bengali. So that you will be able to use the app as well as sell products in your own language. Starting September, you will be able to see real product pictures in catalog reviews uploaded by other resellers. This will help you make better decisions on what products to share and sell. Now let's move on to Ask Visit questions. A lot of you have asked if Misho can source specific products that you want to sell. So from next month, you can directly upload product pictures on the app itself. These pictures will be shared with other resellers, and if they also show interest in them, then our team will make sure that those products are sourced promptly for you. From next month, you will see a lowest price guarantee badge on many products. If you find these products cheaper on any other platform, just upload the screenshot on the app and we'll give you 100% refund on your purchase. Some resellers also feel that excluding returns from new bonus plan has affected their bonus. But our reports tells us that resellers are now earning 15% more than before, even after returns. So don't worry, sell more and earn more.
Some of you have been facing dealer dispatch related issues. This is a top concern for us as well because we understand it does not deliver a very good reselling experience to our resellers or their customers. So recently you started cancelling orders which are not dispatched even after 3 days of the promised dispatch date. And in order to make your experience slightly better, we also provide you a compensation which is 15% of the order value. Now we want you to use this compensation as a means.
Suhita, that answers your question what you have to do to capture business in COVID times.
Yes, sir. Build a better relationship with your customers. So let's take an example. For example, you place an order of a product which is for rupees 1,000. Now the product does not get dispatched even after 3 days of the expected dispatch date. We will give you a compensation of rupees 150. You can use this rupees 150 as a discount for the customer on the next order. This will help you retain that customer. This will help you build a better relationship with the customer. We, of course, are trying to reduce the overall cancellation for you, and we want to make sure that all your orders are delivered successfully to you and your customers. We also received many questions from you on how you can earn more and get more customers. Here, I would like to introduce you to the Nisha Mentorship Program. These expert resellers called mentors will provide you with personalized attention and will help you earn more through this mentorship program. In case you're interested to enroll yourself in the 4-week-long mentorship program, please do fill in the NPS form, the last question there.
A lot of you asked us, what are we doing to check the product quality on Nisha? Getting you the best supply is our top commitment. And to ensure that, we have strict quality checks on each step of the process, be it onboarding very reliable suppliers or showing you accurate descriptions. You also requested for more real images, especially for replica products. We have taken your feedback, and going forward, you will see more real images across the app. You also said that we should add more variety in electronic accessories and cosmetics. We already have a lot of electronic accessories on the app, but they may not be easily seen. To solve for that and make their discovery easier, we will soon be creating a collection for the same. I also want to tell you that we have a lot of variety in cosmetics and will keep adding more variety each month. I hope we've been able to address all your questions in this video. Best of luck for all the Diwali contests, and as always, we hear you. Hi, resellers. I'm Vidit.
Yeah, so I'm always excited when I see these young entrepreneurs. Really, imagine 1,450 crores. 5 of them, and it wouldn't have been possible in my days, and Dr. Suhas, I'm sure.
Really,
The good news is that if you have the energy and passion, and if you have the correct guidance, good mentorship and good coaching, it's not very difficult anymore. But yes, the passion level and all those qualities that I today presented, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, first go and develop them, right? Don't be an ideapreneur. Can I see everyone now? I really want to see how many of you are there.
At least 23 people seems to be there.
Yeah. So don't be an ideapreneur, and don't think that alone I can build businesses. There is no future for alone kind of business. You will be able to do it, but you will do it not on a consistent basis. It will be just seasonal. Thoda din chala, thoda din nahi chala. Unless you want to become part of Nisha and try to sell some products that you can sell in your area. But then those are also opportunities. Now you see how this company is disrupting the environment by making an entrepreneur out of everyone. You don't need any investment. You don't need to have a supply chain. All you need to have the ability to sell. That's it. You don't even have to buy. You have to just book orders. Or one order cancel हो रहा है 150 रुपया मिल रहा है 1000 पे. I mean, what else you want? So fantastic. I really like this, and therefore I thought all the ATM money and Ninja Cart, and there are so many others also, which are part of the Indian startups. They are there on Google and they are there on YouTube. A lot of these, but you will have to do some searching, to go and look at these very inspiring examples. I am inspired all the time. Whenever I look at this, I get inspired, and I sometimes feel that, God, what if I was 30 today? What if I was 25 today? What would I have been doing? So, but that also makes me feel like a 25-year-old anyway. So, so you want to see how the world is going to look like in 2050?
Yes, sir.
That's again one of my I'll have to look for that. One second.
From things in the air to new things for our bodies, join me as we explore 2050. What would be the future technology? We are in the year 2020, and if we're being honest with ourselves, technology is incredibly advanced, and we're making strides that can push things even farther. We have cars that are much safer than they've been in the past decade, and we're even making fully electric cars that can help save the planet. There are even plans for self-driving cars and even self-driving Ubers that make the future of transportation very exciting. And that's just one technology that we're growing at a fast rate. What about all the others that are out there? What will technology be as we get closer and closer to 2050? Let's start with one that well and truly could happen very soon: drones. Wait a minute, drones are already here. And yes, they are. But more times than not, the drones you are seeing are small, piloted by people who are just trying to have some fun, or the ones that are used by the military right now for strikes and surveillance. All very fun, but in the future, drones could be an integral part of our daily lives. You've likely seen shows and people talk about how in a few years drones could be the new delivery services. Anything from pizza to Amazon packages and more. And honestly, that's very probable. Drones right now can be incredibly sophisticated, and some TV shows actually use them for sweeping and aerial shots as they film. It's very cool, but to do deliveries, they'd have to be a little bit more programmed, as human error, no doubt, would be a very big buzzkill. Not that it's impossible right now, it's more of a question of numbers, logistics, costs, and making sure that the deliveries themselves are done in a methodical and careful manner. After all, it's bad enough when delivery people don't care enough about our packages and they just throw them onto the porch and potentially break stuff. The last thing we need is that to happen with drones. But by 2050, we may not only have drones delivering our packages, we'll be looking up at the sky and seeing drones flying all over with incredible speeds and accuracy. And they potentially could be all run by AI. The potential is there, and by that point, various upgrades to drones and their programming will no doubt make them more efficient, durable, and quick. Potentially, they could go beyond basic deliveries for people and do emergency work. Imagine a drone taking a vital piece of medical material to a hospital to ensure it doesn't get stuck in traffic, or helping watch over an important convoy to let people know on the ground if there's trouble. There are many ways that drones could affect our world. The only question is, will we let them by 2050? Let's keep going with transportation, shall we? Right now, one of the biggest ways to get around the countries we live in are trains. These carry people and all sorts of cargo around in an efficient and reliable manner, which is why they've been in use for hundreds of years. We're being honest here, while trains are efficient and reliable in certain ways, exactly fast, especially when it comes to passenger and freight trains. They can take a long time to get to their destination, and at times, it's more logical to take other modes of transportation. Why companies are making special kinds of trains that can't go much faster. You know of the magnetic trains of Japan, no doubt, but others like the Virgin Hyperloop are trying to push things even farther. Passengers or cargo are loaded into the Hyperloop vehicle and accelerate gradually via electric propulsion through a low-pressure tube. The vehicle floats above the track using magnetic levitation and glides at airline speeds for long distances due to ultra-low aerodynamic drag. Science fiction? Hardly. In fact, the first vehicle of the Hyperloop has already been tested and proven, and some larger tests are being scheduled for the next few years. And if this works, traveling across the country will be much faster. How much faster? The Hyperloop aims to send people shooting across the tubes that they make at a rate of about 600 miles per hour, which means if they were able to do this across the entire United States, east to west.
You know, it's a very interesting movie available on YouTube. You can watch, because I should not take extra time, and we should end on time. And since this movie is available on YouTube, watch The World in 2015. In fact, there is a set of movies, and there is a set of movies on application of nanotechnology to different, spheres of our life, applications of biotechnology, green energy, radiology, technologies that are going to come in surgeries, nanorobotics. I'll encourage you to go through this, because this will open up your vision, and this will help you also imagine other things in other spheres. Because once your creativity goes in different directions, you'll be able to imagine things that, and sniff for opportunities in businesses that are other than these also. So idea is to open your creative mind, and that will happen only when you watch this kind of stuff. Yeah? I have a huge library now of all these videos, and it's very, very interesting, I tell you. I love them more than watching any movies on TV.
Okay, sir.
Good.
I think we are coming to the close of this 3-day MDP session. I'm sure all of you really enjoyed the sessions of Mr. Arun Segar, who made us thinkers of the future. And I am sure that most of you who attended the program will be good entrepreneurs with a vision and innovation, and with a sustainable growth for the future generation. With these few words, let me close this session, and we will be issuing the certificate for all the participants. Also, we will be sending you a feedback form. Please generously fill up the feedback form and send us back, so that it will help in the future programs. All the best of all the participants, and also
Thank you.
thanks to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Saigal sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.